Hello everyone. I'm Gustavo Tolosa, your Starch Solution coach, and also your entertainer as a concert pianist. And even though today I'm not going to play for you, but tomorrow, Sunday, I am doing the Cook with Gustavo live, and it's going to be a fun, interactive show where we will cook together, and then I will play a mini concert with you with some music that I have carefully chosen to go with each dish that we will be making. I will send you the ingredients once you register, and you can cook while I cook, or you can sit and enjoy it and then cook later. But there will be all recipes that are starch centered and plant based, no oil, no, just totally healthy. So, thank you again for being here. We're getting close to the end of this book, The Start Solution. Can you believe it? I thought it was going to be done in like 6 to 8 weeks, and it's been over 2 months. But we have taken our time to really dig into it and learn from this book that I think is one of Dr. McDougall's best books. Um, I think we will have maybe one more session, and then we will start this new book. If you would like to order it, then I will set up another book club that will cover his latest book, which is The Healthiest Diet on the Planet. One of the things that it has, well, you will see, it has a lot of interesting, very updated information. It also has updated recipes, even though the recipes in the Start Solution are wonderful, but they are from a time when they perhaps there weren't some of the ingredients and some of the new modalities that we have today in the grocery store. So it has very nice recipes, and not only that, but the pictures. The Start Solution doesn't have pictures, and this one, the pictures, you just want to eat them. The pictures are so good. Talking about eating, let's see here if I can read. Hello, Gustavo. Nice to see you. Yes, and nice to see you all. You have, I look forward to every Saturday, because even though I don't get to see you, but I feel your energy, I see your comments, and it's fun to get together, since a lot of us are still staying home, at least most of the time. I wanted to mention yesterday, last night, Chef AJ, one of my idols and close friends, she interviewed me, and I shared a recipe that I want to share with you in case you haven't seen it, because it has become my favorite breakfast. I have told you how I pretty much eat oatmeal every morning. I know Dr. McDougall does, and the oatmeal, and Dr. Esselstyn and many other doctors, because oatmeal has so many benefits that it should be at least a once a day food that we eat, oatmeal. And the closest to the original form, because we're always talking about that here, how let's get to the closest form, to the least what do you call it, a processed form. I am becoming less and less interested in sweet foods. I almost don't use sugar anymore. Even some fruits seem too sweet. So I have been craving something savory in the morning, especially because right now, I don't know if some of you know, I am not in the United States. I'm in Argentina. I'm almost a month away from leaving when all of this started and the airports closed. And so I couldn't leave. So I'm in Argentina where it is winter, and in the mornings sometimes it's in the 20s, or if we're lucky, we're in the 30s because I'm way up in a mountain town. So I crave something warm, creamy, savory, and so I found this recipe that Jane Esselstyn does. Jane Esselstyn is Dr. Esselstyn's daughter, and she has a YouTube channel with her mother, and they cook, and it's really fun. So I have their book, their cookbook, and I saw this recipe, and I changed it. I changed it quite a lot actually, but still it keeps more or less the same concept. And what it is, I want to share that with you. I call it the Gustavo's Savory and Creamy Oats. So what is this? Well, I don't know if you've tried this, but the oat groats is the actual oats as they come out of the plant. They're not steel cut. They're not cut in any form. They're not the regular oats. It's the oat, unprocessed. Totally, it looks like brown rice. Really, it like sometimes the first time I couldn't tell if it was brown rice or what it was, but that's what it is. Those are oat groats. You can get them anywhere or almost anywhere. Full of fiber, full of nutrients. So what I do, a few little tricks. So I get a cup of these oat groats and I let them soak. Well, I rinse them a little bit. I let them soak overnight on water. I just cover them with water. One cup of oats, and then I cover it. I put it in a bowl and I cover it with water and I let them soak. And this is very important. This is okay. The other thing is that the next morning when you're ready to eat, although you could eat this for lunch or dinner, but make sure that you soak them for at least 5 hours. So then when you're ready to cook them, if you have a pressure cooker or like an instant pot, which I do, of course that makes it easier and faster, but you don't have to. You can do it on the stove in a regular pot. But if you do it in an instant pot, you want to put the oats there with probably 5 cups, 4 cups of water, I would say. 4 cups of water or vegetable broth. Then you will put 1 cup of chopped mushrooms, any kind. If you don't like mushrooms, I don't know, maybe an eggplant or maybe Brussels sprouts or maybe grated zucchini, something like that. I like the mushroom because it is kind of meaty, earthy taste. Then I put 5 or 6 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, and this is what makes it amazing because they come out cheesy. Nutritional yeast it tastes like cheese a lot, and it makes it creamy. I also use half a teaspoon of ground turmeric. For some reason, the turmeric also makes things creamy, and it gives it the yellow color, so it actually looks like you're eating this in cheese sauce. And then you want to use half teaspoon of liquid smoke for that smoky taste and smell. If you don't want to use that, then you can use smoked paprika. That's perfectly fine too. And then you're going to put 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and then 2 cups or 3 cups, however many cups you want, of something green, because remember, we need our greens. The greens will, they will take care of any injuries that our endothelium cells have. The endothelium is those very delicate cells that cover all of our, I don't know how many miles of arteries that we have, arteries that go from the top of our head to our toes, and we need to take care of these arteries. Most of us have come from eating a lot of dairies and meat in our past life, and we have artery damage. We do. We know we do. So, but that is reversible, and it can be improved greatly, as Dr. Hesselstein shows in his research and in his book. But that is what greens do. They have a compound or several compounds that that's what they do. They heal the endothelium. So you want to put 2 or 3 cups of something green, whether it's kale or spinach or Swiss chard, something green chopped. So all that goes in the Instant Pot, or it goes in a pot on the stove. And if it is the Instant Pot, you just set it for 5 minutes manually, because the soaps have been soaking for several hours, and they have absorbed water, and they have tons of fiber. So that cooks. When you release the pressure, now if it's in the stove, you probably have to cook it for 20-25 minutes until you can see that it's creamy and the growths are soft. So you open it and you find this. I have it because I'm addicted to it now. Look at the creaminess. It's like people think I've made it for other people. They think it's risotto. I don't know about you, but I do have half of my family is Italian, and I could eat pasta every day. I don't, but I could. And of course, risotto is a type of pasta. So, it's made with flour. It's not the healthiest choice. But if I make it, and I make it very seldom, and probably now I won't anymore because I have this, I put tons of vegetables. But this is like risotto, very creamy and satisfying, with the mushrooms, with the greens, with all the spices. The only thing is that when I'm about to eat this, I put another handful of greens, and I like tomatoes, so I chop some tomatoes and I add the tomatoes here. You could chop, I don't know, something else. It could be sun-dried tomatoes. It could be artichokes. And that, my goodness, what a marvelous breakfast. So, and then you can put, if you like hot sauce, you can sprinkle some hot sauce or anything else that you want. So here's the recipe. I will share it with you right now. I think that if you look in your box here where we type, you will be able to see, hold on just a minute. Let me put this here. I think that I can share the file with you. Oh, yeah, let's see. Okay, I'm sharing. I would like to know, people, if any of you could type here in the box, in the chat box, if you could type, if you can see it. So hold on just a minute. If you can see it and download it. If not, you just send me an email to bornforhealth@gmail.com and I can email it to you. Okay, so let's see. Someone has a question. I read recently that food, okay, thank you guys for letting me know, loses its value when heated, and it mentioned toxins. So I'm trying not to reheat food, but that is so not very inviting. Do you believe this to be true? Thanks so much. Okay. For what I have heard, and I have had the blessing and the luck, whatever we want to call it, for 7 years now to interview, I think, just about every doctor and nutritionist and dietitian and chef in the plant-based world. Maybe I have a few that I haven't, but I have learned and I have attended lectures of any kinds. And so I can just share with you what I have heard in a consistent way. And it is that food, in most cases, the nutrients that we need are easier to absorb when they're cooked. Now, I have also heard that you can hurt some of these nutrients by high heat. Now, since we don't cook with oil, um, you know, that sometimes is not an issue, but I think that you don't want to burn and kill your food. So usually I use a medium high heat. I have a pan that is an excellent non-stick pan that is thick. And so I take a little care of that. I seldom, if ever, use the microwave. I have it because I had it from before. Actually, it was someone, my mother gave it to me, um, but I don't use the microwave very often. But since we eat such a healthy diet and it's consistent through the day, and some foods are cooked and some are not, if some of the nutrients got hurt in one of the recipes because we eat all day fruits and vegetables, um, you are not going to be deficient in any of these nutrients because in one of the meals maybe it got hurt. So I would not worry about it. Definitely wouldn't. Dr. Esselstyn, who is an expert in cancer, in heart disease, he says that he asks his patients to eat the greens cooked if possible, but they also eat salads. I think in every meal. So try to have a combination and a balance, and so that we're not always eating cooked food and not always eating raw food. Okay, very good. So again, if for some reason you could not download it, I'm going to type here my email. It's born number 4 health at gmail.com. And let's see if it appeared here. I'll be happy to mail it to you, to email it to you. Okay, so I wanted to share that because now we're entering the last 2 chapters of the book where we are talking about it's a practical book, don't get me wrong, but now the last 2 chapters are even more practical, so we'll be talking about that. Okay, let's go to our book and let's see, hold on, let me share my screen here. And there we go. I think you can see the screen now. And let's see. Give me a minute so that I can get set up with technology here. Chapter 13, Practicing the Starch Solution. So, Dr. McDougall, I'm sure you have read it. If you haven't read it, then take time to read it in detail, because we're not going to read word by word the whole chapter. But just know, this is one of the warnings that Dr. McDougall is giving you, that when you start this way of eating and you're successful, family, friends, co-workers, people are going to see you get healthier, your skin, your hair, your weight, everything. You're going to look healthier, even younger for sure. And some of them are going to be happy with you and for you. But some are not going to be happy about this at all. And so why won't your friends be happy for you? Well, you've done something that you say is very simple. You've only changed the way you eat. That's what I always tell people when they ask me, just change the way I eat. That's about it. Yet for them, the task seems next to impossible. Give up bacon and eggs for breakfast? No, I'd rather die right now. I'll drop dead. I'm not giving that up. So, you just maybe what you need to do. My experience is, don't be confrontational. Don't try to convert people. It really convert people. There are 3 things that are next to impossible to convert. One is politics view, which I never discuss because that's a topic that I find unpleasant, at least for me. Another one is food. People get very very defensive when you talk about what they eat and about food in general. And then the other one is religion. People get very defensive too. So you don't want to start to convert anyone. If they ask and they're sincere, then they will ask questions. And you can just give them information with a little, in drops, okay, a little drop at a time. Um, but don't try to fight with people to convince them of anything, because I can tell you that 99% of the times it doesn't work. So what you will need to have maybe in your back pocket are some short responsive for whenever people ask, like, how you get your protein. I mean, how do you get your calcium? Well, just read those chapters and say, well, I get them the same way that the cow does, or something like that. And if the cow gets the protein from the ground, and I do too. My protein doesn't go through the body of an animal. I get it directly from where it comes. And and then and just leave it like that. If they have questions, maybe try to answer them. But whenever you notice that they're starting to get a little bit annoyed with, and that they're trying to fight, just tell them, you know what, it's okay. You might enjoy reading this book. This is the book that I read that I'm trying. This is something that I'm trying. I don't know if it will work. You might want to read this book. You might want to visit this website. It's called drmcdougall.com. There are videos there. Just pass it on to somebody else, because in their mind, in their eyes, you certainly are not the person that knows anything. You're not the expert. So just think about that. There is a wonderful video that Dr. Lyle did with me, and it's in my YouTube channel, about how to handle this. So what to eat and what to avoid. One of the most exciting things about the starch solution is that it is not a diet in the traditional sense of restricting how much you can eat. So long as you choose the right foods, you can always eat until you feel comfortably full and satisfied. And this is something that, as a person that in my life I had tried just about any diet, this is unique, because most diets, if not all, they will restrict how much you eat or when you eat. Not here. The fear that all of us who are food addicts and have had weight problems of not eating enough or not having enough is gone. If you're hungry again in an hour, then you eat some more. It's fine. This is one of the key benefits of the starch solution. And part of what makes it so successful is that you need to never be hungry, never feel deprived. The starch solution doesn't require you to purchase any special prepared foods. It doesn't require you to count calories or equivalents, or to keep a food journal or an exercise log, or eat only specified menus or dishes at particular times of the day when the moon is halfway through and it's in the third quarter. Anything ridiculous like that. It doesn't require it. So long as you eat only the permitted ingredients, you can combine them in any way you like, just like I did with my dish here, in any preparation to suit your own taste. You can eat a wide variety of, or limit your choice to a few simple dishes repeated over and over. I know some people, they have found their 7 or 8 things they just love, and they eat them over and over and over. That's kind of what I do, but I do also enjoy a couple of times a week. I like to prepare something more elaborate, and I like to try new recipes. But other people don't. They're happy repeating what they like. And so whatever works for you. But the cardinal rule of the starch solution is that you must center the food on your plate around starches. That's it. Center the food on your plate around starches. And then you add color and flavor and aroma with non-starchy vegetables and fruits. You use fat-free seasonings and sauces generously to add variety to your meals and make them more interesting. So, besides knowing what to eat, you also have to know what things you need to avoid eating if you're going to be successful at a plant-based, starch-centered way of eating. Well, you will, you know, here they are. They're listed. I don't want to read them. We have been talking about this for weeks now, but there they are. They're listed. If you have a slip and you eat one of these foods, the best way to protect your health is to immediately return to following the starch solution. I have to say, I'm not afraid. I don't feel embarrassed to say that in my journey, which still continues, but at the beginning more than now, when I had a slip, I didn't make a big deal out of it. Oh, I had a slip. Okay, my next meal is only an hour away or 2 hours away, and I'm back to it. Um, Although there is the danger of diverging from the plan often. Okay, so it says, although diverging from the plan once or twice a year, not a week, will not undo all its benefits, it can be a slippery slope. If you indulge too often, you may find it difficult to get back on track. For most people, eliminating a food altogether is far easier than figuring out when it is okay to eat it, how much is safe to eat, and remain on the plan, and when it's time to stop. So it is very true. It is very true. It's better to just get it out of your mind, erase it. I don't, you can say things like, I don't do this, like maybe, maybe you don't wear high heels, let's say. So you don't, and you tell yourself, no, well, I don't wear high heels, or maybe I don't wear mini skirts. I don't. I myself, I don't like. I think that mustaches look good in men, but not in me. Not so. That's something that I don't do. I just don't do it, and so you can do the same thing with food. You can say to yourself, I don't do this. I don't eat this, and just get it out of your mind rather than having always that window open, that door open. Well, maybe it's okay to eat it, but only on this day, and maybe one time, and maybe on this day. No. It's just better to not have it. So for that reason, Dr. McDougall says, I recommend staying away from these foods altogether all of the time for the rest of your life. It may seem inconceivable now, but once you make the commitment and experience the profound effects, you will not miss the foods that you give up. And it is true. Our taste buds really are so efficient at reconfiguring, in a way, at changing. There are a few foods that won't spoil your success with the Starch solution, but they might slow down your progress. Not everybody wants to lose weight. That's the other thing. Some people want to change their diet and try the Starch solution because they want to improve their health, which I think is the most important goal to have. And yes, losing weight for many of us is a byproduct, but it's not really the main issue. Is to get healthy. Of course, losing weight will help you to improve your health. But there are some foods that if you're trying to lose weight, it will slow down your progress. Now, if you're not trying to lose weight, or if you are trying to gain weight, which to me is inconceivable because I've never had that problem. But if you're trying to gain weight, then you might want to try some of these foods. So Dr. McDougall recommends avoiding these foods altogether. And if, on the other hand, you're already happy with your weight, or you're not in a hurry to lose weight, and you do not suffer from a chronic illness, you might consider including small quantities of these high calorie foods in your starch based meals. And these are avocados, dry fruits, flours, whole grain, white, all purpose, fruit and vegetable juices, nuts, peanuts and peanut butter, seeds, and then simple sugars like table sugar, maple syrup, molasses, agave. So, starch, vegetable, or fruit. Well, this is important that you have some sort of idea what is a starch, what is a vegetable, what is a fruit. So, most starches can be classified as whole grains, legumes, or starchy vegetables. Some commonly available whole grains are barley, brown rice, bulgur, wheat, corn, farro, millet, oats, rice, spelt. I haven't never had tried kale and wheat berries. Products made with these grains include breads, tortillas, flatbreads, pasta, couscous, and whole grain cereals. So, legumes include dry beans, peas, and lentils. Actually, right now, as we're doing this, I'm making a lentil stew. There are a great variety of beans to choose from. Many, many beans. It's fun to go to the store actually and just maybe every week or every other week try a new variety of beans. You know, they add different colors, different textures, different flavors, things like that. I really love the cranberry beans. And I love the fava beans as well. Peanuts are a legume, if you didn't know, although, like tree nuts, they are high in fat and should be minimized or avoided altogether, especially if you're trying to lose weight. Starchy vegetables include most tubers and root vegetables, like including burdock, cassava, potatoes, sweet potatoes, taro, which I've never had, and yams. Winter squashes are also high in starch. Some examples are acorn, buttercup, butternut, hubbard, and kabocha, which I love. I have this creamy kabocha soup that is incredible, and as well as pumpkins. And then you have the green, yellow, and orange non-starchy vegetables. And you can read here. I'm not going to really go through. One of the things I want to highlight is the mushrooms. I think mushrooms should be in our diet often. I don't want to tell you every day because, you know, I don't think it needs to be every day, but mushrooms have so many incredible nutrients. And as far as I know, the only vegetable that provides you with vitamin D if you don't want to take vitamin D supplements that Dr. McDougall does not recommend at all. So some of the vegetables we eat are actually the plant's unopened or partially open flower, like broccoli and cauliflower and artichokes and Brussels sprouts. Those are examples. And then fruits, wow, fruits, pretty much all fruits are open to eat for us. Although avocados in Asia and in parts of Asia and the Philippines are enjoyed as a fruit. Avocado and olives, also a fruit, are notable for their high fat content compared with other fruits and vegetables. How to prepare your food? Well, there are endless ways to prepare the food. If you're getting started, you know, you might want to start with familiar foods, and but really you can steam them, you can roast them, you can bake them, you can there are just so many ways to do them. The spices and other seasonings can help you to keep your food variety and varied and interesting. I do use a lot of seasonings. They can also help you to make familiar tasting foods from less familiar ingredients. That's very true. Try adding curry powder as you cook. If you enjoy Indian foods, rice wine vinegar and soy sauce for Asian style food, and chili powder, cilantro, or salsa for Latin flavor. I do this almost daily. Um, and let's see, before we have a little break here, salt and sweeteners used in reasonable small quantities also help to enhance taste and make adjusting to a new eating plan a little easier, at least at the beginning. Later on, you may gradually give them all up, and I do think that it's good if we do that, but for some of us it is difficult. I don't mind. It's not difficult for me to give up oil or flour or sweet or sugar, but salt is, and so I do use some salt. It's minimal, but I do. When you purchase prepared sauces or any other prepared product, read the label carefully because a lot of these products have oils and other fats, and a lot of them has way too much salt or sugar. So one of the things here that Dr. McDougall says is Mary and I, Mary is Dr. McDougall's wife, recommend making the recipes in this book in large quantities. I cannot stress this enough. This is something that I do with almost everything I make. Make them in large quantities and packing them in individual or family-sized servings in the refrigerator or freezer, because that way you will always have something good to eat on hand when you get hungry. I know people that change this to this way of eating, and of course, we're eating low caloric food, so we eat more often in many cases because we need the calories. And so they don't make enough food. And so they go across the street or they grab something that they shouldn't have in the house that is not compliant, and then that's one of those slips that you might have. So always have something in your refrigerator or in your freezer available. And then you have some suggestions for substitutions for your favorite foods. And the best way to ensure that you stick with the Starch solution is to keep an assortment of healthy ingredients on hand in your kitchen. And then there's a very good chart here with things to avoid. And on the other side, where it says enjoy, you have something that you can replace it with. If you're interested or if you like soy foods, here is a list of things that you can have. Some soy foods are healthy, but some are not. So don't think that just because someone says, oh, look, you can have a soy burger. Sometimes the soy burgers are even worse than the regular burgers. Okay, so, or some of the very, very processed soy meats and cheeses, you want to really try to steer clear from those. So here you have a list if you enjoy soy, and these are some ideas. This is a great list to have. You know, that this doesn't mean that tomorrow you're going to go to the supermarket and get all this, but you know, maybe every time you go to the supermarket you get one of these things, and these are shelf stable foods that are great to have available. Then you have some to keep on hand. Then you have some that you can keep in your refrigerator. Of course, having frozen foods is very important for us. And then you have a list of all these herbs. I think I have most of them, 98%, because I really like to make my food tasty, and I used all of them. Okay, let's see if we can. There are some flavorings that they sell nowadays of meat or fish. If you're looking into making some of your foods taste like that, there is a new seasoning that has come out that I want to get. You can order it on Amazon, and it is something that is healthy. It really is, but it tastes like bacon. If you want to eat something that tastes like bacon, you can actually make bacon that uh, looks and tastes and feels like bacon with eggplant and with bacon flavor. Okay, then we're going to talk about cookware, but let's change here for a minute. I've been talking too much, and I'm going to see if there are any questions here. So it says, as a newbie to this diet, I really have problems making in bulk, eating the same thing morning, noon, and okay. So when we talk about making in bulk, it's because I make. I mean, not every recipe that I make is in bulk, but most, I would say. So what happens is that then in your refrigerator or in your freezer, you have Tupperware or bags with all these different things you've made in bulk. So you're not gonna eat, like I made this lentil stew that is there in the stove, and I literally have made enough for like 20 people. So that doesn't mean that I'm gonna eat it tonight and tomorrow for lunch and then tomorrow for dinner. So no, so I'm gonna freeze some. So I'm going to rotate on all the foods that I made in bulk. And some of these foods that you make in bulk, sometimes I transform them the next day. Maybe I had stews or a stew or a soup or something, and I mix them and I add other spices, and boom, it's unrecognizable. It's not like it's a new thing. So you knew, I understand, I was new at one point, but you will learn if you continue watching videos. Go to my to my YouTube channel. You will see tons of free recipes in my Facebook page, Dr. Starch. You can go to Chef AJ's website as well on YouTube. There's so much. So I promise that you won't get bored with the food. Are any of the other book reading available associated with the starch diet? Are any of the other book reading available associated with the starch diet? I'm not sure I understand the question. If you could clarify. I purchased a spice mix from local spicery that smells like pepperoni. Oh yes, I've seen that. The only thing, guys, is that when you're going to buy something like that, just quickly turn it, read the ingredients, make sure that they haven't added one or two or three different kinds of oil, that they haven't added tons and tons of salt or sugar. But because these are spices and we're going to use them as condiments, if they have a little bit of salt, a little bit of sugar, it's okay. We're not going to be eating it by the handful. We really don't want to have the oil, if at all possible. Okay, how can I get the bacon flavor product? I am going to look it up, guys, and I will, because I cannot remember the exact name. I think I have it in my Amazon page. I'll look it up and I will include it in the email that will go out to you with a replay. I'm surprised the syrup is considered okay. It takes very hard. Yes, some of these simple sugars are. Remember that we were talking about how Dr. McDougall's goal is that people will eat the food, because knowledge is not going to get you through the program. It will, but really you're not going to be eating a book. So the food, like Dr. McDougall's tagline is, it's the food. If you're not going to eat the food, it's gone, it's done. It won't work. So that is why he allows people to use a sprinkle of sugar, a little sprinkle of salt, every now and then a little bit of maple syrup or molasses or something, but only as a condiment, so that you will eat the food, hoping that gradually, as your taste buds develop and they get more sensitive. You will eat less and less and less. I don't eat maple syrup anymore. I started with sugar, then I switched to brown sugar, then to a less processed sugar, then I switched to maple syrup, and now the fruit alone is all I need. So you will change. The important thing is to eat the food. If you can give it up right now, the sugar and the salt all together, that's what we want. I mean, that's great, but not everybody can do that. So can you give the link to, okay, all of you want to see the bacon, I'll send it to you, okay? All right, let's see. I don't see any others, but please, if you have any other questions, let me know. So it is very important now that we have the cookware that will allow us to cook the food, because we're not using oil. We need to have non-stick pots and pans, and that is the one investment that you cannot overlook. Yes, some of these pans are expensive, but the pan that I bought 7 years ago is still like new. It has a lifetime warranty, and I know that it's safe, and I know that nothing sticks to it. If you have an instant pot where you can, an instant pot is like a frying pan, like a cook. It can also steam. It can also make rice. It can almost do your laundry, almost, because it does everything, and nothing sticks in that pot. In the insert that comes with the instant pot. So you can research. You can go to a good cookware store and ask about non-stick pans. Tell them that you don't use oil. You need something that really is non-stick. There is one of them that I use that is called, let's see, it's the, it'll come to me in just a minute. But it's just that there are so many. There are so many pots and pans that are non-stick. So research on that. Let's see if I can see some of your questions here. I'm trying to eat greens, so I bought kale and spinach too and snacks. I love potatoes, all free, and I make it. Okay, good. Just remember that the greens are always to go on the side or with some starch, because by themselves they're going to leave you hungry. And thank you for writing it. It's called Scan Pan. I know that Mary McDougall uses all of them. I think I bought the whole set, but it's not the only one. So don't think that you need to go out and buy Scan Pan. It's a good one, but there are many others. Thank you for letting me. Do you drink coffee? Occasionally, I drink coffee. Yes. Although there have been times that months have gone by and I don't drink it. And I don't put any dairy. Sometimes I put a little bit of almond milk, but I don't drink coffee mostly because I don't like it without sugar. I never got used to drinking black coffee, and I don't want to use sugar. So if I drink coffee, sometimes what I do is I soak. Overnight, I soak dates, because sometimes I use the dates in the oatmeal, and the water from the dates, I use it to sweeten the coffee. But so that's why I don't drink it often. I like teas, all sorts of teas. Okay, very good. So let's see. Let's try to finish this here. We are all. The time just flies. The time goes by when you're, having fun like this. And so let's just make sure that I have gone through most of this here. Hopefully next week we can finish the book, and really try not to use any cookware that has aluminum, because aluminum is truly associated with Alzheimer's disease. You don't want to use anything that has aluminum, and a lot of the other things like deodorants and toothpaste, many other things that we use on a daily basis has aluminum. We really need to avoid. Dr. McDougall wrote a wonderful newsletter on this with new research that shows that aluminum is present in the brain of people that have Alzheimer's. Okay, so the following items make a good cookware starter kit, and Mary McDougall here has made a list for you. And then he says, when you don't feel like cooking, this is a great three paragraphs or so where she tells you basically what we were talking about. Make things in quantity, freeze them, combine them, switch them. There are things already made in the store, like you can buy already frozen and cooked brown rice at Trader Joe's or Whole Foods, things like that. Frozen vegetables make it really easy to make a meal. I'm just going to let you read that because it's very self-explanatory. If you can afford it, I know people in the plant-based community that hire a cook that will come once or twice a week and cook for the whole week. And I know others who for very little money will hire a college student that will come maybe once a week and will chop all the stuff that you need. And even cook, because some of these recipes are so simple that you can say, look, here are 3 recipes, chop the things, put them together, and then you have it. So that's a possibility. And then one of the big dangers that we all have, I call it to me, it's like walking in a war zone. It's dining out because it's so difficult. But not impossible. When you go out to eat with friends and family, it's so tempted because there are feelings involved, and you want festivity, and sometimes you want to be polite. I mean, many things. So one thing that is definitely going to make a difference is pre-eat. That's what we call it. We pre-eat. That means that before you go out, you will have a nice baked potato or sweet potato or mashed potatoes or rice, some starch that will fill you up and that will help you with cravings. So you're going to go to the restaurant, but you're not going to go with the starving mode. That's the worst thing that you can do. And then, if at all possible, you want to choose ethnic restaurants like Mexican, Chinese, Thai, because a lot of these populations have traditionally followed a starch-based diet, and a lot of this food is made fresh there. So you can ask them to please leave out. You can always be very polite and just ask, please leave out the oil, or please leave out the salt, or put it on the side, things like that. One of my favorite places to eat, really, if I have to eat, although I really don't eat out very much, is a steakhouse, at least in the United States, because you have access to a baked potato, which I ask for it plain. And then they always or almost always have steamed vegetables. So I ask for a nice 1 or 2 servings of some kind of steamed vegetables. And then that or a baked sweet potato, and that can be a meal, and with a side salad. And you can either take your own dressing, or you can ask for a low fat or no fat dressing if they have, and use a little bit. If you use some lemon juice, fresh lemon that they can bring you. So it is possible to do it. Another thing that is very beneficial in this diet is how you can keep the costs down. And luckily for us, the things that we eat most, like grains, legumes, and starchy vegetables, those are some of the least expensive foods in a supermarket. Other vegetables and fruits may be more costly, especially if you buy organic. You won't be eating as much of these as you will the starchier foods, and it will be worth the extra cost to get fresh fruits and vegetables, especially those in season, like it says here. So this is really eating a starch-based diet is one of the least expensive foods. And then here there's a chart that compares the cost of the traditional diet and one that is like Dr. McDougall recommends. Okay, so keep these things here: grains, potatoes, legumes on hand. Dry goods like beans, rice, and grains are wonderful to always have in your in your pantry. Cleaning after a plant-based meal is so amazing because it's so fast. You don't have any animal fat or vegetable oils to scrub and to clean. Everything cleans so easily when we eat this way. And okay, let's see what we have here. And that's pretty much, we did it. We covered chapter 13. Next week, we're going to do 14, and that's going to be the end of our book Start Solution Book Club. Let's see if we have any questions. Many restaurants are now also having vegan choices. Yes, they do all over the world. Just be careful. I have to mention this. I don't want to be a party pooper, like they say, but be careful with the vegan choices, because sometimes to make those taste good, they do add ingredients that are not healthy for us. So I would rather always choose things, if possible. If a lot of restaurants will have a steamed veggie platter, things that you can recognize. Some of these vegan burgers, they just terrify me because the texture is too much like meat. Some of them use different kinds of fats and oils that are not things that I want to put in my body. So, but just be careful. That's all I have to say. I would rather go to one of those ethnic restaurants and choose things that I can recognize than something vegan. But watch out. That's all I can say. What else? Thank you for reminding. Pico de gallo is good on a baked potato. Oh, there's so many. On a baked potato, salsa is wonderful. Also, I don't know if you've tried it. It sounds strange, but a baked potato with a side of mustard. I don't know why, but mustard and potato goes really well. You just dip it a little bit in mustard, and it's a great combination. Okay, so I want to share this just in case that you want to join me tomorrow. You don't have to. I don't even know if I have it here. I don't think I have it, but yeah, I do. Okay, I'll share this here. This is a live cooking party, I call it, that I'm going to do tomorrow, Sunday. And like I said, we're going to cook together, or you can just watch. And then I'm going to play the piano for you, a mini concert, and it's just going to be fun. I do charge a very small fee of $10 because it takes me about 40 to 50 hours by the time I'm gone with the pre-production, the webinar, and then the post. And so it just takes a lot of time. And even though I love it, I need to charge something. This is only the second time that I charge for something. I really try to do everything for free for you, because I really, from the bottom of my heart, I really want to help you. So very good. That's the offer for tomorrow. I hope that you will join me next Saturday, and make sure that you read the book and bring questions, and then we'll talk about, we will probably take 1 week off, or two at the most, and then we will start our new book club. Okay, let's see. Any other questions that you may have? I will send you the email. I'll find the bacon product that I was telling you about, and that's it. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'm going to go now and eat my lentil stew. Okay, everyone. Bye.